but she inspired me because I saw the length that this woman went for me, right? For me and us, like for my people, right? For the people, like she dedicated her life to something. So I sat back and I said, damn, she went this hard for people that look like me, and I'm out here gunning people that look like me. It messed up my mind. I had to pull back and start moving on.
What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, get down, fresh out, and tune into another fresh out interview. And today I got a special guest. We haven't had anybody on the show from New York yet. And we got my man here from Long Island, SoRich, doing big things. And he blessed us, you know, coming out here to Cali. We were able to make it happen. We've been trying to connect before I actually moved to AZ and, you know, just trying to get logistics down, but we made it happen. So we're going to get his story, and this man is somebody to look up to as far as for some inspiration. SoRich, man, so let's tell the people a little bit about your background and where you grew up, man.
Without a doubt. First and foremost, you know, you said I blessed y'all, but y'all really blessed me with this opportunity. So, you know, once again, I appreciate you.
Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Without a doubt. So I'm from Strong Island, Long Island, New York. Freeport, New York, to be specific. Port Knox, I got it tatted on me, Cashport, whatever it is that you want to call it. But think about Long Island, think about where I'm from. Nassau is this, right? Nassau is one of the most segregated counties in the country, period. Right? So I'm gonna give you a little perspective before I go straight into the story and how I came about, how I came up. Nassau is one of the most segregated counties in the country. So what that means is that you can have a neighborhood that's all white, $1 million neighborhood, right? And it's no black people here, right? And then if you go up the block, right, you can have a neighborhood that you go from $1 million neighborhood to poverty, right? Up the block. Sometimes it's within the same town, right? So you go to one side of town, so white, $1 million home. And you come to the other side of then you come to the other side of town, and it's in a frenzy, right? So I'm from my first block, I had many blocks that I grew up on, blocks that I take pride in my whole town, but you know, blocks that helped shape me, right? My first block that had really helped shape me when I came outside was Babylon Turnpike, BT, right? Anybody from the area, you know BT, right? So what happened on BT was that it was the first time where I was able to do really what I wanted to do unsupervised, no adult supervision. Why? Because my single mom and my mom is at work all day, and my friends, they parents, they moms is at work all day. So what happens is we out here, we momming, we raising each other, right? So from my BT days, I love my BT days. We had so much fun, but we was already into all type of things that you don't think like that the average kid is not into. We stealing cars. We got our team. I mean, now I could look back and people will call it a gang, but that was our team, right? That was my, like, I looked at that like as my family. This is my brothers, right? So I got brothers and sisters, but we didn't grow up together in the same household. And my sister that I did grow up with, she didn't come around till years later, right? So my friends growing up, these was my brothers. And my sisters, I would do anything for my brothers, right? And my sister, and that's how, you know, that's how we kind of came about. It was like, yo, like, we fighting every day, and if you my man, you will never get a one-on-one. That's how we was thinking, right? If you my man, you're never getting a one-on-one. As a matter of fact, if my man watch my other man get into a fight, when he come back to the block, we gonna whoop his ass.
Yeah.
Right? Because you never supposed to let your brother go out by himself. Right?
Yeah.
So growing up, I went to dark. Right? The people who live in my neighborhood now don't really like the young kings and queens, they may not really be aware of this, right? But when I was growing up, it was a heavy MS population where I'm from, right? MS 13 and all that. And I ain't knocking them, but at the time when we were growing up, we had beef. But when I say beef, I'm gonna tell you, it's not like I'm 12. These grown men. But in order for me to get to school, right, I had to pass their blocks in their area. Now they grown men, they got machetes, they got guns, they got knives, and as soon as they see you, they was on us. They was on us. I don't even know why, but they was on us. They chased us. They chased me most of the time. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was. Nah, they chased me then. My life was on the line at 12 though, right? So this is just one example of. So now, as I'm older and I look back, I'm like, damn, these are the things that I had to go through. These are the things that we went through. It was regular to us, but this is how we got to school. So when I get to school, how am I supposed to be focused? Like, it might get crazy.
Yeah.
It might get crazy just trying to make it back home.
Yeah.
But this how, like going back to me and my friends, me and my brothers, like this how we really got together. We really been together. Like we was going out. This is one of many obstacles that we had to go through on a regular basis. So it brought us closer together. All right, this is what we got to go through to go to school. We're going to school together. And guess when something happened to you, we all going to ride, right? So, like we was moving around, going to different towns, fighting and sparring, and guns came in the picture, beefing, and like we young people in the streets. But all of this, as I realized, as I got older, all of this prepared me for the next levels in the streets that I would soon encounter, including incarceration. So 12, you're growing up on BT, 13, going on 14, and then BT got shut down. Like Babylon Turnpike got shut down for us, because my brothers, my two brothers and my sister, the place where we used to all be at, they moved, right? So now it got shut down. Now we dispersed through the rest of the town. When I was in 9th grade, my mom sent me away. She said, "Yo, you're getting too crazy." She sent me away, all right? Sent me away for the whole 9th grade and all that. Some boot camps and crazy. Whatever the case may be, I hated it. When I came back, I came right back in the fray. I came right back into action. So when I left, dudes were selling weed and all that, I started back selling weed on a block. It's my second block, B-Way. So now I'm trapping, doing what it is I'm doing. And as I'm selling weed, I see the older dudes. I got some respect on my name, so I could beat it. Anybody can't just beat it. I see the older dudes. They selling crack. So I'm like, all right. I'm selling weed. I'm like, yo, I see this crack. This is moving. So now I look back, I say, damn, I was poisoning my people. Right? I got enough knowledge, wisdom, understanding to know that selling that to my people is tearing down my environment. I ain't know no better. Well, I know I'm trying to make $1. I'm trying to make it happen. So I still remember it was like yesterday, the first day I sold crack. I had one gram and I bagged it up, and I made like, at that time I made $150 the quickest I've ever made it before in my life. It was like an hour and a half. So I said, wow, if I can make this in 1 hour, 10 hours, right?
You do the math.
Yeah, exactly. So I started selling crack. And well, this is at 16. Let me take you back. At 15, it was the first time I got into an encounter with law enforcement, right? I was trying to get a ride home. At the time, I had moved to Queens. I was trying to get a ride home. When I was trying to get a ride home, my friends had pulled up on me. It was like three of them in the car. And they're like, yo, we take you to Queens. Don't worry, I got you. So they proceeded in taking me to Queens. But on the ride home, they're like, hold on, make a stop right quick. Jumped out. See a dude walking on the street. Yo, hold on. Back the gun on him. Put the gun to him. Robbed him. So I said, whoa. Okay, but like earlier we was talking about the mind, right? And how developmentally, our brains are not fully developed until the ages of 25 and sometimes 30. And the part of our brain that's not developed, the prefrontal cortex, is the part that deals with logic, reasoning, thinking ahead, consequential thinking. The part that develops very fast is the amygdala, right? Emotions, right? Impulse. So at the time when I see what's going on, I'm like, all right, okay, so what we doing? Gotta wait. All right, so what we doing for the night? I need some money before I go home tonight anyway. So we went on a string of robberies. One robbery ended at the gas station. Around the gas station, somebody shot the gas station crank. We all got arrested. 15. I was the youngest person. I was the youngest person there, right? But as you mentioned earlier, programming. So mentally, I was already prepared to go to prison because I done spoke about it so much times with the brothers in my neighborhood and all that. So now I could look back and see that the way I was programmed, I was already on a path to go to prison, and I was prepared for it, right? So so now I could look back and when I talk to young people, right, I could talk to them and kind of see in which ways they are programmed, or if they program like how I was programmed. And if I do see it, I try to throw something different in there. Like, yo, listen, different perspective. Yo, listen, hold on, like you don't necessarily gotta think that way, right? So at 15, I was arrested. I got a 6.5. Right? My first felony, I got a wire, I got a 6.5. I came home. So now you come home, you know how to go. You gotta have your respect on your name, or you ain't town, you did this. So now I'm back at it. That's when I started selling crack and this, that, and the third, to rewind to what I said previously, right? So now I'm in it. But now I'm getting, I'm seeing money that I never saw in my life, right? Oh, $1,000 one day. So like, oh, all right, what's going on? It's digging deeper, and I was going deeper and deeper. And I was just spiraling, like, you know, we playing with guns heavy, we moving around. I'm gonna fast forward because I don't want to get to all the details, but when I was 17, I stopped selling crack. I said, you know what? I got enough money. I said, I ain't even really, I was still going to school, my high school, right? I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to college, right? I applied for college. I got a job. I hated jobs. I got a job, CVS, and I applied for college. I got accepted to Queensboro Community College. My first day at college, I got arrested. What did I get arrested for? 2 crack sales. When were these crack sales committed? 8 months ago. Right? So I bring that up because I want to let's talk about the system. You got a 16-year-old boy, 16-year-old young man, 17-year-old young man. The research that I mentioned as far as the development of the brain is public knowledge, right? So you got this 16, 17-year-old, you're watching him. You see that he's doing whatever it is that he's doing. He's doing something that he's not supposed to be doing, right? As grown men, grown officers, you're watching him, right? So now you have a choice, you have a decision, right? What do I do with this young man? Right? But they're not looking at me like a young man. They're not looking at me like a kid or a teenager. They're looking at me like a monster, right? Oh, this black dude, whatever. This guy, right? So now you give up on your one choice, which is, yo, let's pull him to the side, let's talk to him. Listen, I know what you're doing. I got you on camera telling what you're doing. What is it that you want with your life? What is it that you want for your life? Right? Is this a decision that you want to make? Right? There are other options for you to make. Right? In order for you to sell drugs means you have entrepreneurial skill. Right? It means you're intelligent. Take these skills and put it somewhere else. That's not the route that they took. They watched me and they waited to build more evidence on me. Right? So when you're watching me, I know that you know that I'm no longer participating in this activity. But you don't care about that, right? So you wait till I'm no longer participating in this activity. You wait till you see me doing something positive, right? Still as a teenager. You wait till you see me doing something positive, and then you come and you put these sales on me. So at the end of the day, I believe in, like, listen, you do the crime, you do the time. Listen, I take my time as a man. But at the same time, I'm looking at the system and the way the system is designed, and it's like, yo, it's not designed to help people. It's not designed to help young black men and young black boys, right? If we go to the Stanford, that Stanford rape case and all that, when that young man right? When that young man, that young white man, right, was a college student, so he's older than me at the time, when he was accused of rape, right? When he raped this woman, and when it comes to sentencing, what did the judge tell him? Well, you know what? I think it's smack on the list probation. He said, well, you know what? You got your whole life ahead of you. I don't want to ruin this
I've seen that shit.
young man's life, right? So I say that to say, like, let's take a look at the dynamics when dealing with young kids, young men of color, black and brown. We already know that, right? So fast forward, I go to jail, I come home. I came home around 19. I was introduced. I was looking for a job, trying to do the right thing. I was introduced to an organization. I'm very thankful for this organization. The organization is strong, struggling to reunite our new generation. They gave me an opportunity, my job opportunity, but it was a part of that program. The program is called the University Program. And as a part of that program, they said, yo, listen, we will give you a job, but in order for you to qualify for this job, you must have been in prison before, right? We must have been involved in some type of street gang activity and all that. But their reasoning for this was like, yo, listen, we want to give people who don't usually get opportunities an opportunity. Why? So we can expose them to something different. That's what they did. For the first time in my life, when I went to Strong, struggling to reunite our new generation, when I was employed there as a participant in their program, their youth program, for the first time in my life, I found something that I would want to do legally, right? They had me going back to certain schools and talking to young people about my experience. Some of these people was my age or 2 years younger. But some of these people were really young, but talking to them about my experiences in prison. Same thing that you're doing right now, right? But face to face, right? And I was talking to them about my experiences, and I still remember this one time. I went back to my school, Don Junior High School, Freeport, New York. I went back to my school, and I was talking in front of the kids, and I was telling them my story about, I didn't forget. I was telling them my story about how, we was outside and how I went to jail, and I was looking at the toilet seat, and the seat silver, green, and blue. I'm like, damn, this what I gotta use the bathroom on. And I was telling them about how I was moving before. And I saw this little girl, she started crying. Like, damn, man, what's going on? You crying? She said, nah, it's just like everything that you're talking about. I see my brothers going through the same thing. I see my brothers moving the way that you said you was moving in the streets. I see my brothers in prison. It just hit home so much. I said, damn, this is powerful. This is powerful, right? That's why what you're doing is so powerful. The power of a story and how that transforms lives. So that hit me. I do music. I rap. That's what I love. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. That was the only thing that gave me the same feeling. Speaking, telling my story was the only thing that gave me the same feeling that I feel when I'm on stage going crazy, rocking the mic, or when I'm in front of a crowd doing my thing. Because you're touching people, right? I think it was Nipsey Hussle that said one of the most powerful things a human could do is inspire another person.
That's right.
So, working that Strong. So I worked with them for a while. They exposed me to the ins and outs of nonprofit. They helped me find and explore things in myself that I didn't know were there. They put me on to a career and a career path that was fulfilling to my soul. That's what I do. That's just one of the things that I do now, but this years ago, I was 19. And, it was like, okay. I started going to college again. I enrolled, right? Not like 30, 40 credits out, like 30 credits, not like 30 credits out, everything going good. And then, but at the end of the day, talking about your environment, talking about what you know, like talking about the people that you got around, like, and my town, that's a hood, that's my hood, and things happen in your hood, right? So in my town, some things happen, right, with people that were very, very close to me. Very, like my brothers. Some things happened. So once these things happen, you know, shots were exchanged. Like, you know, I'm not gonna get too much in depth because, you know, but you know, because things happen, certain things I like to keep off camera. But one of my brothers and their family members were put in extreme harm, right? Like almost killed. Right? And at that point, I had to make a you know, decision. Like, hold on, like, am I gonna continue with this path, this positive path that I'm on, or am I gonna take it this route? Am I gonna step up to the back and go with my brother? I told you how I was raised. I don't care if it's a one-on-one. Now I let you get a one-on-one. That's fair. That's men. We men, right? Men. First of all, you don't even gotta fight. Like, you can talk it out as men, right? Use your mind, right? That's I know that now, right? But how I was raised, like, listen, I said, brother, he fight, you fighting. If he swing, you better swing next, right? So that meant programming, right? You talk about this programming, that mentality was in me. Like, that's how I was built. So once I transpired with my brother, I'm like, I had to make a decision. And I made my decision. And once I made that decision, it wasn't college. I was still going to college, but all bets was off. Like, it's lit now, right? Like I said, I'm not gonna go too much in that, but it was a war in my town, right? Like, biggest war that my town seen in the past 20 years, right? Facts. And, you know, whatever the case may be, as a result, I was incarcerated. I got locked up after that, and I was incarcerated, and that's how I got my sentence. I got 11-year sentence. Right? I was facing life, right? For months, my lowest offer was 15 to life. So I'm not taking nothing with life on it. I'm not taking nothing with life on the back. You're gonna have to get at me. At the end of the day, you give me 5 to life, that 5 to life could turn to 40. I'm not taking nothing with life on the back. So I had to pay the lawyer $80,000 for the lawyer. My lawyer was on his job. For months and months and months, they offered me 15 to life. I'm not taking it. I go to pre-trial. You know, we fighting it, we breaking down the charges. So we about to go to trial, and a few weeks before we go to trial, my lawyer come visit me. Boom, he like, yo, listen, they got a new witness. This is one of the many things. Like, you got a new witness. They got this woman. She came forward, and she's saying that you ain't have nothing to do with it. She's saying that you was trying to stop the situation. She said she was going to testify and all that. I said, huh? He said, yeah. He said, listen, you know, like, I mean, you still got to fight, change the dynamic, but he said, listen, they offering you 12 right now, 12 flat, right? But they're saying they give you 12 for everything. So I told you I had my original charge was gang assault, but they ended up bumping up to a murder, right? To murder. After you get indicted, after I got indicted, I also had an open gun case, and I had an open burglary, 2 burglaries rather. One, I don't do nothing, but at that time, burglary wasn't my thing. But one I beat, right? Because long story short, and this is another example of how the system is twisted. Person that was like family to me, rest in peace, Miss Bennett, Mama Bennett, I love you. Right? You know, she was like one of the mothers of the community. You know, you got mothers of the community, right? But everybody is good. You're not going to their house where and you're not eating, right?
Something on the stove.
Something on the stove, right? She's not letting you leave and you hungry, right? If you don't got nowhere to go, you're not going outside. You're going, you're gonna sleep right there. You're gonna sleep on the couch, but you're gonna get your rest. Rest in peace, Mama Bennett. I love you. She passed away during my incarceration.
If you're fed up with paying cable companies and streaming apps too much money every month, then Vault TV is the solution you've been waiting for. Watch up to 100,000 movies on demand, up to 5,000 TV shows with over 120,000 episodes. Visit us at vaulttv.com.
So yeah, man. So to make it quick, because I don't really to make it quick. I just want to show an example of how the system is twisted. Ms. Bennett moved. When she moved, somebody broke into her old house, and cops came to arrest me for that and charged me with a burglary. But the thing about it was, they said that my fingerprints were in the house. They found my fingerprints on a glass. But guess what? If you come to a house that I'm at all the time, that's like breaking into my house and saying, "Oh, he committed a crime. His fingerprints are on the glass on the bed." Yeah, I mean that's my house.
You go over there all the time.
I go over there all the time, yeah. Right? But so those end up getting thrown out.
That's to stack you into a plea bargain. You know that stack the cases and get you like.
That's to put the pressure on you and to stack you into a plea. So let's get into that, right? Because I want to wrap this up and just move forward, right? Because I say to understand my growth, you got to understand my past. So I give the people my past, not to glorify it, not for it to be perceived as an accolade, how you say, but to understand where I came from, right? To understand at the end of the day, I'm just like you, right? Talking to the youngin' out there who he trapping, or even like the young killers, right? At the end of the day, like, and I don't even like classify individuals as killers because you are so much more than that. Yeah. But like, I'm just talking to the people like, yo, listen, I'm no different than you at the end of the day. So if I did it and I made the transformation, then you could do it, right? Because I ain't have to be here today. Really, I think a lot of people feel like I wasn't supposed to be here. They feel like I was supposed to be in prison for the rest of my life. So now, they offer me 12. My lawyer like, listen, this joint that they got on you, this murder and all that, it's not that. They just try and drag you in the fray, right? They really want you to go take the stand on your man, right? That's really what it is, right? Yeah, yeah. But they dragging you in the fray, right? So at the end of the day, it's like it ain't really too strong, but it's still a risk. He said, you in Nassau County. You was in Brooklyn or something. If you was in Manhattan, he said, yo, we could get a jury that at least a few of them, like if we could get a diverse jury that understands different perspectives, your skin color don't necessarily, it's about understanding these perspectives. Put some black jurors on, some Spanish jurors on, right? He said, you in Nassau County. Jury's gonna be all white. He said, they're already stacking a deck against you. He said, yo, I could get busy with it. I could get extra busy with it. He said, it's always a chance that things don't go the way that we want to go. Now you're risking 25. He said, on top of that, you got this gun charge, right? I got arrested. The weapon was inoperable. The weapon was inoperable. If you get arrested with an inoperable weapon, it's a misdemeanor. However, if you have a prior felony on your record, it bumps up to an E felony. He said, you got this felony on your, he said, you got this weapon charge on your record. Excuse me, you fighting this open weapon charge and you fighting this other brother. He said, yo, if I go to trial and I beat this murder, you still got these two open cases. And because they're gonna be so spiteful that you beat this, the weapon charge holds 7 years, right? The burglary holds anywhere from 3.5 to 15. C felony, D felony, right? 2.5 to 7, 3.5 to 15. He said they're gonna run those wild, and give you 5 on this, 5 on that. They're gonna run those wild, and you're gonna end up doing pretty much close to the same time you was gonna do anyway if you take this 12. So he said, yo, listen, like, you better think about this. You better move. So I said, damn. He said it like that. I said, damn, so long. All right, 12 for everything. I said, well, give me 10. He said, if you give me 10, you're going to ride. Long story short, you got me 11. I took the 11. Before I went upstate, Old had told me, he said, yo, listen, remember, he said, you don't got nothing to prove to anybody. Remember who you are. That was very powerful. Because to me, that say, yo, listen, at the end of the day, you know who you are. You know you stand firm. You know you official. You know you been about action. What else are you about? Right? You don't and I always took that with me. Right? So when I went upstate, when I went to the county jail, it was hectic for me because I just came from the street, so it's beef beefing all over. When I went upstate, I got a peace of mind. I said, all right, what am I gonna do with this time? I spoke to myself and I said, all right, like, you gotta put yourself in a position to be a person that's gonna be successful when you come home, or your whole life you're gonna be going in and out this hellhole, right? So gradually I already had the seed in my mind. This is what I wanted to do. I just had to figure out how I wanted to do it. So gradually I started taking the steps, like, all right. But it's because of what he told me. Remember who you are. You don't gotta prove yourself to nobody. So I wasn't out there trying to show everybody that I'm the toughest in the world. I'm a man, I stand on my own too, but I'm doing my own thing, right? Because I know I could do that. I did that. I've been doing that for the past 10-something years. It's time for me to try. What else can I do? Right? So I wanted to go to college. I said at the least, only reason I wanted to go to college because I said, listen, I have these things on my record, these felonies, where automatically somebody gonna, without knowing me, somebody's gonna judge me from a negative light by these things on my record. So I said, I need something else. I need something on my record that they can judge me from, but in a positive way before they even meet me. I need something to combat these felonies, because they looking at me, they're like, damn, like I don't even want to be in 10 feet of this guy, right? So that's why I wanted to go to college. The first time I went to college, the first time I applied for college, I got denied. I ended up reapplying. But the thing about prison was this. I say prison was a blessing for me. A gentleman told me before I went upstairs, he said prison could be a tomb or a cocoon. Right? Prison could be a tomb or a cocoon. It could be a tomb. It could be a place, like, you part of the Walking Dead. You know about that. Huh? Everybody forget about you when you behind the wall. It's like you're dead, right? And you can move like you're dead because you're no longer in the world. So what's transpiring, you have no knowledge, right? You cut off. Or it could be a cocoon. A cocoon, what stems from a cocoon? A butterfly. A butterfly. The design of a butterfly is unique. No two butterflies got the same design, right? The butterfly is the final form when one reaches its unique height, right? So I always stuck in my mind. I said, you know what? I'm gonna make this into a cocoon. And prison is so unique because it's a place where I went to college before I went to college. Prison within itself is a university. It can be, right? But you won't know that unless you move a certain way because you attract what you are, right? So when I went behind the wall, like, just by the way I was moving, studying, I attracted like-minded individuals. I attracted old heads that have been down 20, 30, 40 years. They're like, yo, I like your style. Here, read this, Asada Shakur. Here, read this, the Celestine Prophecy. Here, read this, From Niggas to Gods. Here, read this, Black Love is a Revolutionary Act. Here, read this, As a Man Thinketh. Here, read this, James Allen, Think and Grow Rich. Right, so they arming me with these weapons. Different type of weapons now. I used to get armed with the hammer. Now they arming me with the knowledge, right? So it's a good thing that I got denied from college the first time because I first needed to be grounded in my own history as a man and as a black man. Boom. So what are the most powerful books that I ever had? Every book I read, it's a number of books that I read that changed my life because they influenced and they changed the way I thought. One of them was Asada, right? Asada Shakur, because I never knew about Asada, right? Asada was never taught in our history classes. And they do mention her, they mention her as a criminal. She's a hero, right? But to see the length that woman, amongst many men and women, Black Panthers, right? That's why I made that hat. That's why I made this hat that I gave you, the Black Panther. This is, you see the SoRich logo, that's my logo, but this is in honor of the Panthers for Black History Month, even though we celebrate Black History 365 days.
Exactly, it shouldn't be a
month. It shouldn't be a month, right? But she inspired me because I saw the length that this woman went for me, right? For me and us, like for my people, right? For the people, like. She dedicated her life to something. So I sat back and I said, damn, she went this hard for people that look like me, and I'm out here gunning people that look like me. It messed up my mind. I had to pull back as I'm moving on. Fast forward, college, when I went to college, it gave me many different perspectives, but it also educated me. But not when I say educated, it helped me better understand myself because it gave me knowledge of things that were transpiring around me in the world. Right? It helped me articulate myself. I used to talk slang all the time, and there's nothing wrong with slang, but I couldn't turn it off. Right? It helped me understand myself and the world around me and the ways in which I fit, the ways in which I blend and I mix and I interact with everything around me, right? So that gave me better knowledge and understanding of myself. And prior to me coming home, thing is this, like I say, in order to understand my growth, you gotta understand my past. And when I came home, I said to myself, this is my vision. And I stuck to it. Before I came home, I analyzed myself and I said, yo, listen, it's gonna be a number of different things in your way. It's gonna be a number of different temptations, things that you gotta work out within yourself before you even get out there. I've been rocking jewelry my whole life. My whole life I rocked jewelry. I said, yo, listen, every time when I used to come home from prison, the first thing I wanna do is get the watch and the chain and off the rip. No, like before I get anything else, because that's what made me feel like myself. But one of the small things that I had to fall back and I say, yo, listen, at the end of the day, you gotta make intelligent investments, right? You're gonna play, but you gotta be firm within yourself and understand that first you gotta lay the groundwork. Once you lay the groundwork, you can do whatever it is that you wanna do, right? But that same money that you use for the jewelry, those same thousands of dollars that you use for jewelry, you could use to place it in an investment. Then once that investment starts to create a return for you, guess what? You could go get them jewels, that car, that house, and still have a constant stream of income. But that's easier said than done. Discipline, right? So I say that to say the first thing I had to do was be real with myself and understand my temptations, understand my weaknesses, right? And prepare myself mentally to face those temptations, right? And I did because I had a vision. I'm gonna bring it back to our original conversation. I had a vision. I knew what I wanted for myself. I knew what I wanted to create. I laid the steps down, brick by brick by brick. And when I came home, I executed. It just so happens that when I did come home, the things that I learned when I was in prison, opportunities were there and I jumped right in. When I came home, it was right in the middle of, rest in peace, George Floyd. George Floyd was killed. It was right in the middle of that time where my people were hurting, they were angry, right? I've been studying about the history and the people for years. So I'm angry too, but I was able to deliver the knowledge and the wisdom that I had accrued over the years, and I was able to share that with my people to better enlighten them. Right? I was teaching. As soon as I came home my first month, I saw that the people were angry, but I saw at the same time like the people needed someone to build with. They needed to build. They needed to take that anger and one thing that they needed was to take that anger and use it in a constructive manner to educate ourselves, educate themselves, educate one another. So one of the first things I did was I started teaching classes. Right? The first class I did was on Black Wall Street, and I taught it to a number of young people in my community and their parents, right? And y'all can check that out on my YouTube page, SoRich Tv. I taught it to them and their parents, and we were engaging, right? So it was like us teaching each other and all that. But that's the part of the information that I was teaching, because a lot of people don't know about Black Wall Street, and that's one of many black communities that functioned as a unit. Right, and where the money stayed within the community, because a lot of times they say that we're not capable of creating a community that can prosper. Right, so I'm teaching it, and the kids were like, "What? That's what's going on," and the parents was like, "What?" But I say that to say my preparation in prison, my private victory became a public victory. Right, I'm gonna say that again. Your private victories become your public victories. When you really put the work in privately, when you actually doing the real work, there will come a time, there will come an opportunity where your hard work will show. That's what I mean when I say public victory. And that concept, or that wording rather, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Right? Very good book. So, I say that to say, so for individuals coming home from prison, or just anybody period with a vision, put the work in. when you put the work in and you stay focused on your vision, the opportunity will present itself for you to reach your goals, for you to manifest your vision brick by brick by brick, right? So I came home, I do music, I rap, but nothing, I rap, right? But my music is filled with my past, my present, and my future, right? So I say, you know what? All right, how you gonna fund this music movement, right? 'Cause it's not just about music, it's a movement. I'm teaching these classes, I'm doing the music. I was talking to one of my brothers, they say, oh, listen, push the merch. Push the merch. He say, yo, listen, Abe, like, when I grew up, we grew up rocking the fly. Like, we like to get fly, right? We like to get super fly and all that, right? And now when I touch down, what's fly now? Where I'm from, what's fly now? You got the Gucci, you got the Prada, you got the Burberry, you got this, that. I don't knock none of that. Get right at the end of the day. You get right, do whatever makes you feel good. I don't knock that. I like to get fly, but at the same time, it's like, all right, you know, we don't make that, right? And anytime you get arrested, they not coming to holler at you. They're not coming to holler at you. Chanel ain't coming to holler at you. You dig what I'm saying? So I said, let me make something that the people could support. That's a reflection of the people. That's a representation of the people, right? So that's when I came out with the merchandise and all that, right? So rich merchandise. Everything's so rich, everything. You see me right now, I'm so rich out. See the tracksuit, I'm so rich out. Yeah, that's a fact. That's what I do, but everything that I do means something, right? So it's not only something that you could purchase, but it's something that you could believe in, right? So rich in education, so rich in dedication, so rich in determination, so rich in confidence. Be so rich within yourself, because I want people to understand, listen, everybody is not rich. Where we come from, most people not rich, most people poor. That don't make you less up, right? Where you are doesn't matter, it's where you want to go. It's where you plan to be. It's where you see yourself. It don't matter if you poor, that's all right. You rich in other areas. Boom. That's the first thing. So then I said, you know what? I grew up on, like, you know, most of us grow up in like areas where I come from. I grew up not really understanding the value of women, right? It's always MOB, money over bitches, bros before hoes and all that. So I never really, I'm always a nice person to women, always very respectful. But that programming, I never really understood how valuable these women are, especially the women around me in my life, like the queens, the black and brown queens around me, all women, period. But for me, the black and brown queens around me, I never really valued them. So over the years, through my incarceration, I realized that these women have been there for me time in and time out, right? From my mother to my female friends, to just, you know, my girlfriends at the time, like, they supported me, right? The ones that supported me, because, you know, some hit the road jack. Like, that's all good, that's all gravy too, right? But the ones that supported me, I said, damn, they gotta be honored, right? So I made something to honor them, and that's this right here. You see this, the Rose Collection, boom. Yeah, so ROSE is an acronym. It stands for Rising Over Stagnating Elements. And what it is my dedication to the women in my life who has helped me rise over obstacle after obstacle. And by extension, it's my dedication to the women in the world. Because every boy, every man, right, has a woman in his life where either right now or at some period, they were there for them. And they helped them overcome what seemed insurmountable at the time, right? So, you know, this is all a part of my line. This is all a part of my movement. But I made this clothing line that the people could support, but also something that people could believe in, right? An alternative. Yo, listen, you could get Superfly, rock Chanel, rock Gucci, but this is also something right here that you could rock and you could feel good about yourself. But you know, so we got the educational classes, we got the music, we got the clothing line, we got the motivational, inspirational speaking, we got the workshops that we creating for the public schools, right? And all of this it is a result of all of the work, all of the studying that I did when I was behind the walls, right? Prison was my cocoon. And now as a free man, I'm able to become that quote unquote butterfly. But it takes hard work. I'm up all night. I'm up all night, all day, all night. I work a job and I come back and I work my business. It takes extremely hard work, patience, and dedication, and an unmovable belief in self. But once you have that, you can achieve anything, and that's my mindset. That's my goal, right? That's what brought me here, right? That's what's gonna take me where I need to go. So, yeah, you know, I'm gonna leave on that note.
So, in closing, like, what would you tell, you know, a youngster out there who's striving to be that guy, or, you know, he think he's out there living a life? Because, you know, a lot of kids, they see images, and, you know, when I was growing up, you had MTV and there was a couple people, but it wasn't like it is now. We have all these just generic individuals out there, and they think, oh man, I could be like him, and it's like, it's not realistic, and, you know, they got a false sense of reality. What would you tell those kids, man, if you could give them, like, you know, a solid piece of advice?
I would first off telling them, I would first off start off by saying, regardless of what anybody says to you, your teacher, your friend's parent, whoever, even if your parent, believe that you can do anything. Your wildest dream, things that you think of are completely out of your reach, you can attain it, right? And then I would tell them, so this is a different age, right? This is the social media age. So as you spoke of earlier, although you may not have that parent in your life, or you may not have, they say every child needs 2 to 3 positive adult role models in their life, right? From a psychological standpoint. Although you don't have that, take advantage of the YouTube, man. Take advantage of these different outlets. Like, listen to the stories of others, right? Because it's just like reading, in the sense that it allows you to merge consciousness with another individual to a degree. And they say a smart man learns from his own mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Listen to these different people who expose it's all about exposure, right? So it's kind of hard for me when I'm playing with it in my head, because I'm telling a young person to go expose themselves to different things, but in all reality, like, it's the job of the people to expose these young people to these different opportunities. I would tell them, always believe in yourself, and no matter what, never give up on yourself, and create a vision for yourself. Your wildest thought, the thing that you think you cannot do, you can do it, right? And don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short and think that you have to do what everybody else is doing in order to become successful, right? Don't, like, on Instagram, people only posting the good times. They're not posting their failures. So don't look at the gram and think that you're not successful or you don't have a chance because you're not jumping out of Rolls Royce, or you're not rocking the big Cuban and all that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what's going on with everybody else. Worry about yourself and where you want to take it. Because I guarantee, if you do what others won't do today, if you put the work in that others won't do today, you will be able to do what others can't do tomorrow. You will be able to go where others can't go tomorrow, because you believe in yourself and your vision, regardless of what was going on around you. Believe in yourself, study, have fun, keep good people around you, keep positive energy around you. Don't put yourself in a situation where things could go left. When you go to prison, it not only affects you, it affects your mom, it affects your pops, it affects your kid if you got a kid, it affects your girlfriend, that girl that you love. She probably gonna leave you once you go behind the bars. You don't want your parents to die when you're in prison and you can't see them. Like, it's much more to life than what's being portrayed. Just believe in yourself, man. Have confidence. Have a vision. And understand that you're so rich in many different areas. What do you think, so rich?
Well, man, you know, I really appreciate the opportunity to do your interview, to have you come on the show. I mean, you flew miles to come out here to, you know, make this interview happen. And my thing is having people who are real on the show who could give these kids a perspective, because I don't think the real ones get enough airplay. They don't get enough respect, in a sense that they got a lot of suckers out there, man, that are pushing this narrative, and they're there for a purpose. And so it's our job to kind of punch through all that bullshit, so that we can make sure these kids don't fall for the traps that they're setting up for them. Because a lot of these guys are traps, and they're spreading a false narrative, and that narrative is going to send them down a dark path that's not going to have light. So your story, I think a lot of people will take a lot of good things from it, and hopefully, you know, we can change some lives and continue to do your thing, man. Because, dude, you out here, you're really, like I said, an inspiration to people who are trying to figure out what they need to do to get their lives right, and you're doing it. I mean, you've been out here, you know, less than a year, and you already got multiple streams of income coming in, and you're pursuing your dreams. So shout out to you and your people, man, your team. And man, I think it's a blessing, like I said, having you on the show and just getting your story, because there's not enough real ones sharing. A lot of people, like, they don't want to tell their story because they don't want nobody to know, or they're working that job and they don't want their boss to find out. But your story is going to help a lot of people, man. And at the end of the day, we need more of those stories. So thank you, man. You guys, links in the description, all the merch, all the music, his YouTube, Instagram, everything. Support, represent. Big Herc 916, fresh out with SoRich.
If I could speak to young people, I would tell them, before you pull that trigger though, before you grip that knife, think about the consequences and how it affects your life. What you want to be, what were your dreams when you were younger? Can you stand to be in prison for the next 20 summers? See, all of my homies killers, I ain't proud, but that's a fact. Busy on his 12th year, Ryder doing 40 flat. Pressure just did 5 with 15 on the back. Me, I came home in May from serving 11 flat. I was sitting in a cell, mama crying every night. Judge see me as a killer and he trying to give me life. Lawyer want 100, he fighting to make it right. Said you 20, you take 10, you still see the light. He was thinking for the future, I was thinking I was done. My grandmother about to die, and plus I never see my son. Should've took that chopper with me and broke my show on the run. If they whoop me, then they whoop me. I'ma die by the gun. I wasn't dumb, but I was young. I ain't really understand. Like Nip said, it's a marathon, making stick to your plans. Understand your vision and execute to the T. And I promise you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a doctor, lawyer, entrepreneur. You could rock that mink that drop down to the floor. You could be a big star in this little world, living out the vision you had as a little girl. Believe me.